Hey, how's it going? Today I'm going to be doing a Winston guide on how to play because I've been playing him quite a lot. I think he's severely underrated as well currently after all the buffs he's gotten. So the first thing to start is, let's just go over here. So to start, we're going to look at Winston's gun. It fires in a cone. So if you can imagine, it's like here to here. It does 60 damage per tick as well. Or per second. So what that means is your melee does 40. So if you go like this, that's pretty decent damage and it saves you a lot of energy. So you want to melee a decent amount while you're shooting. That way you get a decent amount of damage, keep some bullets, and it keeps ticking. The next thing I want to look at is the jump melee combo. So a lot of people underutilize his shift, which is the jump, because that also does damage. As you can see, so Winston's jump does 5 to 45 damage based on where you land. So if I land like a little far away, it'll do very little damage. But if I land right on them, that'll do 45 damage, right? So to make that even better is if you jump right on them and melee at the same time, you will do 85 damage. And that is huge for Winston because his kill values take a lot longer than some other characters, but you could shorten them through these like little movements. So that immediately makes him a much better character in utilizing him early when you're picking him up. So if you're trying to practice Winston or get better at him, you want to make sure you're jumping, shooting. You could shoot, jump, right? Stuff like this while meleeing. Another thing you could do, hold this, right? His right mouse button, jump, and then also release that as well. Let me just get a better one to show you guys. Something like that. Next thing I want to show is Winston's jump into primal gives you another jump, right? So if you jump and then you jump again, you have 2. The same logic applies when it ends as well. So I'll wait out the timer really quick, right? You'll see I could jump and then I could jump again, and then I'll show a clip of a practical application in-game that I've used for this. Winston does the same amount of damage to armor as he does health now. That was one of the previous buffs. So that makes him extremely strong against a lot of his old previous counters. Or not extremely strong, but he's able to actually play against them much better than he used to. So that's a huge thing that they gave him that is severely overlooked now. The next thing I wanted to show that a lot of beginners have issues with on Winston, or even like people that have played him but not a ton, is they'll jump and then throw shield way too early. That is only useful if you're trying to clutch on a diva bomb or something similar to that. But realistically, you wanna give it that extra time. You know, right as you land here, you know it's gonna land here because this actual thing right here is what creates the barrier. So, for example, you can see Lifeweaver could actually just lift up that and remove his barrier entirely, which a lot of people don't know. So, the timing on your bubble is very important. Winston has 350 health in roll Q, which is competitive, and 200 armor, which means the armor he takes 25% reduced damage. So once that's gone, then he takes regular damage. But in total, that means he has quite a big health pool for a tank, which is good, or around average. So to use that even more effectively is a thing called shield dancing, which is when you put your shield down and then you go on the edge of it if somebody walks in it, and you keep constantly going in and out of the shield away from them. So the shield is constantly in the enemy's face, which effectively gives you the shield HP plus your own HP. For the duration of the bubble, at least. I'm only mentioning this tip because I've seen in my VOD reviews, people don't understand the idea of shield dancing, or they don't understand the actual practical application of it in-game. And let me just show you a clip of it actually being used in-game, because I think that'll benefit you a lot better in a real scenario. So next thing I want to show is kind of juggling. This is a much harder thing to do, and it takes a lot of hours on Winston to do it. I am by no means the best at this, and I'm sure there are many good video guides out there on it. But just so everybody knows, or the general idea of it, right, is you're gonna pop your ult, you're gonna throw them away, and you try and jump on them too as you land, and then you can keep throwing them. Stuff like that. It's something you have to get the feel for just by playing him. But in general, using that will get you a lot more kills on Primal. It's hard for me to showcase again because I'm not the best at it, but I'll show you me doing it in game to give you an idea of what it looks like for what you could try and do for it. So the next thing I want to show is how to kind of control Winston's jumps. And this is one that you'll get pretty fast, but to be able to judge it takes a little bit of time. So I'm just going to give you the basic rundown of it from what I've found so far. So if you just we're going to start at this 20-meter line. If you jump, it'll go all the way over here, right? That's just looking straight ahead. That'll give you just horizontal mobility, but if you look up while holding W, you can go this far, right? But if you want to jump short, aim towards the ground, then hold S. That was probably a bad thing to showcase. Let me do that again for you one more time. Right? You could hold S, look lower, and you'll jump very low. And that way you could get the jump damage plus a melee damage on it. So that I'll also show you a practical application of that in game now, just so you could get the idea for that. So the next thing I want to show is how to actually dive into Winston. And I'm going to do this through actual gameplay. So I'll show you what I call a light dive, which is jumping in, sort of on the front line, kind of on their tank, but knowing that you're going to be the one trying to get out here. You're not going in for any kill, you're just going in for pressure to get away, eventually, right? You're not going in to get a kill, you're just going in to pressure to do some damage and get out. I'm going to show you is a deep dive, what people consider actual dive, which is where you go pretty deep and then get out. The main thing with your dives is you want to be safe with them. It's in similar vein to Wrecking Ball. You know, you're not going to be grabbing megas, like mega med packs, but you're going to be grabbing as much time as you can from their team and their supports, and you're taking all their attention away for you to be able to either distract them or kill those supports and then get out. If you could get out, then that is a good dive, in my opinion at least. You should be able to get out with like 200 HP, and that's something that'll come with time for sure. There will be many times you will probably die jumping in. So it's something you're gonna have to learn through gameplay, but also through watching the things I'm gonna show you right now. They might help you give a better understanding to it. But in general, Winston's a character where you have to know what you could get away with and what you can't. Because if you're jumping onto a team that's just going to instantly blow you up and then you do it 800 times, you're kind of just throwing the game. And that's okay in quick play, but in ranked, people will be nasty to you. And that's fun for nobody. That's not fun for you nor your team. Actually, it is fun for the enemy team, I guess. But in general, Winston is a hard character. And however, I think he is extremely fun to play and probably worth putting your time into because he's underrated a lot of the time. He will be harder in lower elo, but also easier because nobody will peel for the supports. So you'll get free kills a lot of the time, but you have to know where your supports are at and how to get out. Hopefully this helps. I just want to make this because I've been really liking him lately, and I think he's a really fun character. So thank you. Subscribe if you like the content, I guess. Otherwise, I'll see you whenever I make another one.